How's it going, guys? Wallace Sititi is at 6, Josh Lord gets his first start of the year at 4, and Tamaiti Williams is still on the bench, even after his performance the last time out. I want to break down this squad because Razor has really had to make quite a few changes, especially considering Scott Barrett and Jordie Barrett pulled up injured. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And let's break down this squad because it is brilliant. Okay, so first up, we are pretty much looking unchanged in terms of the pack. Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, and then Fletcher Newell. Cody Taylor definitely did have a game of, two halves. He didn't exactly stay consistent throughout the game. Yes, he did have some good moments, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of performance he puts in. But otherwise, Ethan de Groot and Fletcher Newell is normally powerhouses. They are consistent. They play generally. They just have such a high level, high standard. But then we do also have Taukeho, Tamaiti Williams, and then Pasilio Tosi to come on if needed. And we will probably end up seeing it. We saw up against Ireland that Tamaiti Williams change definitely was the one that made the difference, especially him getting on the score sheet and coming through with quite a few big tackles. And then, yeah, in terms of the locks, obviously Scott Barrett, he's out. So Josh Lord gets his first start of the year. Hopefully puts in a very good performance. Scott Barrett, he's just really been up and down when it comes down to injuries. He hasn't been able to stay consistent. He hasn't been able to stay fit. So Josh Lord better put in a good performance. It's not that often that he gets chances because, Tui Pelutu and Scott Barrett are out, so he finally gets his chance, and then Sam Darry gets a call up. Fabian Holland, man of the match in the last game, elite level player, proper talent that they have on their hands. He's going to be putting in another big performance. I mean, this is up against Scotland, so they are going to be very physical, and that's exactly the kind of monster in Fabian Holland that you want up against a very physical Scotland. In terms of the back row, honestly, I was not expecting this. I was not expecting Wallace Sititi to come in at 6. Personally, I thought he would be slotting in at 8. But Peter Lakai, he keeps his spot at 8. I think he had a pretty good game. He's not the biggest man in the world, but he brings that energy. He's very athletic. He's built like a brick, and he doesn't stop. So I think that's definitely what they want up against the Scotland side. I think they're going to want to wear them down, burn them out. And when you have the likes of Wallace Sititi, Ardie Savea, who's at 7, and then Peter Lakai, that energy, that bursts of power that they are going to be getting, that energy at the breakdown, they are going to end up tiring down the Scotland side. And they're gonna break him down. So this is very agile, very mobile, very energetic, a lot of power, a lot of good jackling skills. So very, very strong back row. The halfback pairing is Cam Roigard, Beauden Barrett, or what they call it, first 5/8. Bodie and Cam Roigard, essential. Nobody else is starting other than them. Elite level. Obviously they didn't exactly have the best game last time out. I was very disappointed with Beauden Barrett and Cam Roigard. They were slicing kicks, they were making unnecessary passes, they just weren't getting the ball flowing. Are the All Blacks finally going to get some rhythm going with these players? It's a very quick, very agile squad. There's going to be a lot of movement, especially when we talk about the backs, which we're about to now, because there's been quite a few changes there. How are they going to gel? Because up against Ireland, they just didn't seem to get going until Tamaiti Williams came on and scored that try. So, yeah. But Beauden Barrett, he's definitely going to have a little bit of an easier time up against Scotland than what I would say up against Ireland. But Scotland are very physical. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that power. In terms of the backs, now we have Caleb Clark at 11 and then Leroy Carter at 14. Caleb Clark, since coming back, I thought he played well. I really, really love watching Caleb Clark play. He's still got so much to give, and he's gonna cause a lot of problems to Scotland. He's very quick, very agile, loves that inside route, and he's very much to the point. And then Leroy Carter is an absolute speed demon. Since he made his test debut earlier this year, he's just seemed to nail down that 14 spot. He's been playing so much. Again, a lot to improve. Real speed demon. So if they do need him, he's got the legs to burn. So yeah, interesting to see that. But the center partnerships now, personally, with with Jordie Barrett out injured, I was expecting Billy Proctor to be coming in. But no, Billy Proctor takes a seat on the bench. So Leicester Fainga'anuku is at 13. And then we have Quintupaya at 12. Quintupaya, big fan of him. If you guys have watched my videos, I am very much a big component on him starting over Billy Proctor. But when Jordie Barrett ended up getting injured in the last game, Quintupaya filled in at 12. It's nice that, they have players that can do that. And then Leicester Fainga'anuku, another player that I'm really, really much a big fan of. I think he can play around the backs. Very versatile. He's got a lot of pace to burn. And same thing with Quintupaya, a lot of pace to burn. Their ball carrying ability is brilliant. And yeah, their distribution is brilliant as well. So they're definitely going to be causing Scotland a lot of problems. And then Will Jordan at 15. I don't think anybody can have any arguments against that. In terms of the bench, Taukei'aho, Tamaiti Williams, Basile Tosi, Sam Darry, who got called up because of the Scott Barrett injury, Duplessis Karifi, Cortez Ratima, Billy Proctor, and then Damian McKenzie. I think obviously Duplessis Karifi is definitely going to be one of those people that you can bring on as an impact player. He's going to cause a lot of hassle. I'm surprised by Tamaiti Williams, honestly. I thought, considering the performance that he put in last time, he definitely would have that starting spot. But again, he's going to come back as an impact player. I think they're probably going to try and run the same thing where Tamaiti Williams is going to enter the fray around 55-60 minutes and then start causing hassle. I mean, when you have a fresh Tamaiti Williams that's like 145 kilos, try to get him out the way when you are tired and practically want to throw up because this All Black squad's going to run you ragged. It's not a nice sight. Cortez Ratima and then Damian McKenzie, I think that's pretty much outright. No two ways about it. They are the succession, and Damian McKenzie, he can play, pretty much around the backs as well. And Will Jordan, if he's needed to fill in at 14 or 11, they'd make the changes. But pretty strong squad. I wasn't expecting this many changes. I was expecting Billy Proctor to get that starting spot, but it seems Razor's finally listening. Billy Proctor needs to earn his spot there, and when you have when you have beasts like Fainga'anuku and you have a beast like Quintupaya nipping at your heels, you better put in a good performance, because otherwise you're going to drop down that pecking order. And Billy Proctor has not performed. Even when the All Blacks were playing well, he still wasn't performing to that standard that I see the All Blacks are performing at. He always seems to be a step below. And when Quintupaya came in, I thought, he filled that gap pretty easily. So, a lot of pace to burn, very agile backs, very versatile forwards as well, very strong at the breakdown. Those back row are dangerous. Wallace Sititi, Ardie Savea, and then Peter Lakai. Absolute monsters. So they're definitely going to look at running Scotland ragged. And then Josh Lord, I'm very interested to see how they are going to handle, or how Josh Lord is going to handle the All Blacks. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And can the All Blacks finally find their rhythm? Hopefully we get a good game. Catch you guys later.